I just think LeBron the greatest. He did everything for me.
At this point, we got to compare Jordan to like Messi or like Serena Williams.
Let me be very clear right now. June 6, 2001, Game 1 of the NBA Finals, was not just a basketball game. It was a straight-up ambush. A one-man assassination mission executed by the most fearless, most electrifying, most misunderstood superstar the league has ever seen. And his name was Allen Iverson. Don't twist this. The Los Angeles Lakers weren't just favorites, they were invincible. They hadn't lost a single game that entire postseason. Shaquille O'Neal was an unstoppable tank. Kobe Bryant was ascending to all-time greatness. Phil Jackson was orchestrating the triangle like a Zen master playing 4D chess. The NBA had practically gift-wrapped the title and mailed it to Staples Center. All that was left was the coronation. But then he walked in. Allen Iverson, 6 feet maybe in shoes, 165 pounds soaking wet, carrying a broken-down Sixers team on his back like a backpack filled with bricks. And he wasn't scared. Not one bit. Not of Shaq. Not of Kobe. Not of the lights, the pressure, the expectations. None of it. He walked into that arena like he owned the place. Like he was coming for what was his. And guess what? He took it. Not begged. Not borrowed. He snatched Game 1 right out of the Lakers' chest in front of Jack Nicholson, the Hollywood elite, and a stunned Staples Center crowd that watched in real time as their perfect playoff run got shattered by one man. 48. Let me say that again. 48 points. On the road. Against the best team in the league. Against 2 Hall of Famers. And the best part? He didn't flinch. Not when the Lakers made a run. Not when the refs swallowed their whistles. Not when the media had already written the Lakers' victory speech. Iverson didn't just show up. He showed out. He gave us a moment that every real basketball fan still remembers, the step over. Tyronn Lue hit the deck, and AI just looked down and walked right over him. That wasn't just a highlight. That was a message. You might beat me, but you'll never break me. Let's not pretend like this was just a cool game from a star guard. No. This was a declaration of war on the narrative that the Lakers were untouchable. It was the greatest underdog punch ever thrown in NBA Finals history. Allen Iverson walked into Hollywood, and he lit a match. The Lakers had never been tested. Not like this. And Game 1, it belonged to the answer.
I just think LeBron the greatest. He did everything.
Let's stop sugarcoating history. Allen Iverson wasn't supposed to be there. The Sixers had no business making the NBA Finals. Their second-best player was Eric Snow. Their big man was Dikembe Mutombo, who was already tipping into the twilight of his career. Their coach, Larry Brown, a genius, yes, but even he knew the truth. This team was Allen Iverson or nothing. And now you're telling me this guy, 6 feet tall, half the size of Shaq, was going to walk into LA's house, stare down the most dominant duo of the decade, and take them to war? He did more than that. He cooked them. That night wasn't just a good performance, it was a performance that embarrassed the narrative. Iverson didn't care that the Lakers were 11-0 in the playoffs. He didn't care that Shaq was dunking on every center alive. He didn't care that Kobe had torched the Spurs like they were a JV team. He walked in and said, "You're the Kings. Cool. Watch me burn your kingdom down." And that's exactly what he did. Let me paint the picture even clearer, because people forget. The Lakers were being called the most unstoppable playoff team of all time. They swept the Blazers. They swept the Kings. They swept the Spurs. They had the 2 most unguardable players in the league. They had home court. They had rest. They had hype. And Iverson? He had a bum supporting cast. He had injuries all year. He had critics calling him selfish, inefficient, a problem. But he had one thing no one else had, dog. That raw, vicious, uncompromising will to rip your throat out when the moment demanded it. You want to talk about LeBron? You want to talk about Durant? Cool. But none of them, I mean none, ever had a finals performance with less help and more heart than Allen Iverson in Game 1. And don't come at me with, well, the Lakers still won the series. So what? Did David win every battle against Goliath? No. But he won the one that mattered, the one that proved he wasn't afraid. That night, Iverson went toe-to-toe with a full-powered dynasty, and he outplayed every single person on the floor. Yes, that includes Kobe. Yes, that includes Shaq. Iverson controlled the pace. He owned the rhythm. He hit shot after shot after shot with defenders draped all over him. He was the answer to a question the Lakers never thought they'd be asked. What happens when someone's not scared of you? And the answer: 48 points. 1 stolen game. A silenced arena. Iverson didn't just survive Goliath. He punched him in the mouth and spit on the floor.
It's too much delusion. Yo, we can't have top-tier people being delusional.
Nah,
We already got everybody delusional.
Let's stop dancing around it. Game 1 of the 2001 NBA Finals was not just a great performance. It was the single greatest one-man demolition job in finals history, and if you disagree, you weren't watching it right. Allen Iverson didn't just score 48 points. He scored 48 of the most violent, necessary, back-breaking points you will ever witness in an NBA game. And guess what? He did it on the road, against the most dominant team in the league, with zero all-star help, while being guarded by 4 different defenders, including the now immortalized Tyronn Lue, who tried everything short of begging to stop him. He hit step-backs. He hit floaters. He split double teams like he was slicing through fog. He didn't take what the defense gave him, he took whatever he damn well pleased. And let's be real, he did it with hate in his heart and fire in his chest. Allen Iverson played that game like it was life or death. Because for him, it was. He knew the Lakers had firepower. He knew Shaq was going to bulldoze the paint. He knew Kobe was going to come out hunting. But it didn't matter, because Iverson made that court his kingdom for 48 minutes. And then came the step over. Listen to me. That step over is not just a meme. It is not just a highlight. It is the greatest disrespectful moment in NBA Finals history. Tyronn Lue hits the floor. Iverson drills the jumper, then glances down and walks right over him like he's stepping across trash in the street. No words. No flex. Just pure, unfiltered alpha energy. That step over was the exclamation mark on a performance that didn't just challenge the Lakers, it mocked them. Let me tell you what Game 1 really was. It was an artist painting a masterpiece in blood. It was a street legend proving that grit beats glitz. It was a cultural cannonball launched into the Lakers' dynasty machine. People will tell you about Jordan's flu game. They'll talk about LeBron's 2016 comeback. Fine. Great moments. But when you're talking about pure, unfiltered, pound-for-pound greatness, when you're talking about a man with nothing taking everything, you go to one place. Iverson. Game 1. 2001 Finals. 48. On the road. Against the unbeatable. With heart. With fire. With soul. That wasn't just a game. That was a revolution in sneakers.
It's too much delusion. Yo, we can't have top-tier people being delusional.
Nah,
We already got everybody delusional.
You think this is just about basketball? Wrong. Allen Iverson didn't just drop 48 points on the Lakers, he dropped a cultural nuke on the NBA. This wasn't just about stats. This wasn't just about Game 1. This was a moment where a man stood up, with braids, tattoos, a headband, a soul full of rage, and said, "I'm not changing for any of you. Let me break it down." In 2001, the NBA was still clinging to its polished image. Clean suits, corporate stars, tight control. They wanted clean-shaven poster boys with PR training. But Iverson showed up like a hip-hop prophet with a crossover from hell and an attitude that said, "I don't care if you like me. You will respect me." He wasn't just an underdog. He was a walking rebellion. Tattoos up his arms, diamond earrings, baggy clothes, cornrows. Every step he took onto that court said, "I'm bringing me to the game, and you're going to have to deal with it." That Game 1, that wasn't just a win on the scoreboard, it was a cultural slap in the face to every suit who doubted him, to every executive who said he was too street, to every analyst who said he'd never win this way, to every coach who told him to tone it down. That night, Allen Iverson didn't just cook the Lakers. He forced the NBA to look in the mirror and admit, this is what greatness looks like now. You don't need a 7-foot frame. You don't need a corporate smile. You don't need to be manufactured in a Nike lab. What you need, guts, soul, fire, swagger. And Iverson had all of it. Let's not forget what came after. The NBA changed the dress code because of Iverson. They tried to mute the culture he embodied because it scared them. They didn't know how to handle a star who wouldn't play the part. He wrote his own script. And you know what? That step over wasn't just a move, it was a metaphor. Iverson wasn't just stepping over Tyronn Lue. He was stepping over every critic who said he wasn't enough. Every executive who said he'd never lead. Every traditionalist who said he wasn't a role model. He became a role model anyway, not by fitting in, but by refusing to. Iverson was real. Iverson was raw. Iverson was a revolution wrapped in Reebok. And in that one night, that one game, he didn't just win. He changed everything.
I think MJ's the greatest, then everything after that, however you want to put it.
For me,
At this point, we got to compare Jordan to like Messi or like Serena Williams.
Let me say this loud so the blind loyalists in the back can hear it. The 2001 Lakers were not invincible. And Allen Iverson proved it, in their house, under their banners, with their fans watching in disbelief. You don't want to admit it, but I will. Game 1 wasn't just a fluke. It was an exposure. It ripped the Hollywood armor off the Lakers and showed real cracks in their crown. Start with Kobe Bryant, the Mamba in waiting. The so-called assassin. The second coming. In Game 1, he shot 7-4-22. He looked rattled. He looked human. Iverson outplayed Kobe. Period. And I don't care what the ring counters say, on that night, AI owned him. He controlled the pace. He controlled the floor. And he controlled the moment. Now let's talk Shaq, the most dominant physical force we've ever seen. Sure, he got his numbers, 44 and 20, fine. But here's the truth. Shaq didn't break Iverson. And that was supposed to be the plan. Let the diesel wear them down. Let the size and strength crush their hope. But Iverson, he kept coming. Shaq couldn't intimidate him. Kobe couldn't stop him. And Phil Jackson couldn't scheme him. You know why? Because Allen Iverson wasn't playing basketball. He was going to war. And the Lakers, for all their Hall of Fame resumes, they weren't ready for a dogfight. They weren't ready for a man who had nothing to lose and everything to prove. The Lakers thought they were marching toward another sweep. But Iverson made them sweat. He made them bleed. He made them feel fear, something they hadn't felt the entire playoffs. Game 1 was supposed to be a celebration. It turned into a cautionary tale. And I'll go even further. That night haunted the Lakers. They recovered, yes. They won the series, sure. But they never forgot the moment Iverson walked into their palace, torched their defense, and hit them with a death stare every possession. That one man, with zero backup, punched a dynasty in the mouth and lived to smirk about it. Tell me this. If the 2001 Lakers were the most dominant team of that era, why did one 6-foot underdog walk in and punk them in Game 1? Answer, because greatness isn't always about rings. Sometimes, it's about moments that cut deeper than championships. And Allen Iverson gave the Lakers a scar they still carry.
No, but think about it. Bron been the man since, he been the greatest player since he was 16. No, but think about it. Bron been the man since, he been the greatest player since he was 16.
I love LeBron James. I do believe he deserves all the glory. He is not Michael Jordan. If LeBron is better than Steph Curry, we don't know that.
Let's get something straight. Allen Iverson didn't need a ring. He didn't need a dynasty. He didn't need help. He needed one game, one night, one moment. And he took it. Game 1 of the 2001 NBA Finals wasn't just a win. It was a legacy carved in granite. Iverson walked into the belly of the beast, 11-0 Lakers, Shaq, Kobe, Phil, Staples Center, the whole machine, and torched it. 48 points. One step overheard around the world. A dynasty rattled. Let me ask you something. How many players in NBA history can say they walked into a historic finals mismatch, with nobody behind them, and dropped nearly 50 to steal the game? Oh wait. LeBron's greatest finals moment? It took Kyrie's shot. Durant joined a super team. Steph had a dynasty around him. But Iverson, he had fire. That's it. And he lit the whole damn place up. You wanna talk GOAT talk? You wanna throw stats and rings in my face? Cool. But that's not what this is about. This is about heart, grit, pain, soul, style, swagger, rebellion. This is about a man who took all of the doubt, all of the criticism, all of the he's too small, he shoots too much, he's not a leader, and he burned it into history. Iverson's moment didn't need a trophy. His greatness was already too loud for that. That night, he became something more than an MVP. He became a symbol. A voice for the overlooked, the underdogs, the outsiders. The guy who never changed for the system, and still made the system bend to his will. Let's be real. When we talk about finals moments, Jordan had the flu game. LeBron had the block. Iverson had the step over. And that step over wasn't just a crossover gone viral. It was a statement. I may not win the series, but you'll never forget what I did here. And guess what? We didn't. Allen Iverson didn't lose that night. He became untouchable. Because you can lose the war. But when you win the moment that defines it, you become a legend forever. Microphone, that's the mic drop. When Allen Iverson cooked the Lakers, not just a game. A basketball earthquake. A warning shot to dynasties. A love letter to heart. And a forever chapter in the book of greatness.